looking for that person, the name. Yeah, she's not. No, I work with her.
How are you? I think it is fine. Well, the important people are sitting with us. Where's Daryl? Ours in at the end of the month.
And my co-chair is Ed Castro. Ed will now tell you a little bit about himself.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm Ed Castro. I am a resident of, oops, we had a bit of feedback here. I'll stand over here. More importantly, however, I am a father of 2 children and a son of a aging mother. So I think as a stakeholder, I think I share more with the hospital system as a citizen and resident of Scarborough. And I'm actually, like some of you, I'm part of that sandwich generation, you know, taking care of a daily mother and small children. So, Eden, you want to continue on?
Of the Scarborough area for 35 years. I'm the managing partner of Strategy People, a financial and managed marketing group, and I've received 3 medals from the Canadian government for community service. We will be your moderators for this evening. Just a couple of notes. We don't have the... And we'll ask you to identify yourself. We'd like to welcome some of our invited guests. Balkasoon, MPP, Scarborough Rouge River. Councillor Paula Fletcher.
East York.
East York. Councillor Chin Lee, Ward 41. Mary Fredakis, Ward 20. Fredakis. Thought I had it right. Ward
39.
Trustee Sean Chan. Trustee Elizabeth Moyer. From the Scarborough Hospital. And Stephen Smith, Chair of the Board. We have also extended our invitations to the doctors, and we are President of the Medical Staff Association, and Dr. Larry Ehrlich, Chief of Family Medicine.
There you go. Say hi. I think we cover all the elected officials.
Integration. And we are concerned as to the impact on Scarborough residents. It hints at an endeavor that far exceeds an alliance or integration. In talks with neighbors, very few people in the community appear to have heard about it. and we're all surprised that it had not been advised or consulted. We as a community are an important stakeholder in this process because a hospital merger is not just a corporate exercise, but has real consequences on the health services we receive. For example, the elimination of overlapping services and medical staff reorganization could disrupt the services we receive for years to come. Now, Dr. Frank Wright, frankly speaking, we were a little disappointed about the initial approach the hospital has taken. We know that a consultant was hired from BC and has now completed a 5-part report on the merger without even speaking to the community to gauge their concerns. That's why we decided to have the town hall. We're trying to write the process and have the Scarborough Hospital speak directly to the community, advise us their position, explain to stakeholders how it will affect patient care, and create a platform where all of you to ask relevant questions and get answers. That being said, we very much appreciate the presence of Dr. Wright, Mr. Smith, and other board members here tonight on short notice. We understand that you had to leave the board retreat at the Scarborough Golf Club in order to be with us tonight. It demonstrates a willingness to reach out to the community and listen to what we have to say. And finally, we thank St. Paul Lamoureux for allowing us to use this hall.
我哋有呢個市政廳嘅會議咧，係因為大家都好關注咧最近我哋都聽到咧有啲傳言咧就話有2間醫院咧就會合併，咁就係士嘉堡醫院啦，同埋係多倫多東方醫院嘅。咁咧係都聽聞咧就佢哋曾經揾過一啲人咧就係做過一個調查，就係研究2間醫院嘅合併嘅事嘅。咁咧其實咧喺呢件事情上面咧，因為醫院咧係我哋大家都需要用嘅健康醫療嘅地方，咁所以咧如果一個合併裏邊咧係可能影響咗我哋嘅生活日常嘅當我哋有需要嘅時候咧，影響咗我哋嘅方便或者我哋嘅服務。咁所以咧今日咧士嘉堡之友咧就係佢哋呢個團體，今日咧佢哋2個係主席。Ed 同埋 Eden 咧，佢哋喺今日咧就係利用我哋聖保羅中心咧，就係搞一個咁嘅市政廳會議。咁頭先咧就見到好多前排嘅人士咧就喺度企起身嘅，點解咧？佢哋就喺呢度嘅省議員啦，呢度嘅市議員啦，仲有咧就係多倫多唔係嗰個叫做咩嘢咧？醫療衛生統籌網絡嘅2位代表啦，就坐咗喺前邊啦。仲有咧就呢排呢邊嘅咧就係醫院嘅代表嚟㗎。咁佢哋今日咧陣間咧就會有啲問我哋佢哋咧就有啲問題咧就問嗰啲醫院嘅代表啦嚇。咁我哋希望咧佢哋能夠俾到我哋一個答覆嚇。咁唔該。OK。
Thank you. All right, can you introduce yourself? Where is the executive director? Oh, there. Hi there. Thank you once again. It's a fantastic place and an asset to our Scarborough community. To answer some questions, we have a series of questions that we will be asking. After you get the opportunity to speak, what I'd like to also do is open the mic to the audience and have the audience also ask questions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go running around with this mic. So if that's okay, I'll sort of kind of land somewhere. And if I trip somewhere, just ignore me. I'll try and sort of get back up and run around and try and find you. What I suggest is if you do have the mic, to introduce yourself and obviously your question to the consultation. So right away, to ask you offhand is, who did the Scarborough Hospital consult in the exploratory stage of the plan for the alliance and integration with Toronto East General Hospital?
Well, that's very easy. In fact, it's basically enshrined in the bylaws of the hospital, and the Community Advisory Committee presents at every board meeting the issues that that they have dealt with at the previous meeting, which is also held every month. So today we have Karen Gordon, who is the chairman of the Community Advisory Committee, and beside her, a well-known figure in Scarborough, Denis Lanoux, is coming, and I think she's sick tonight. Oh, that's too bad, because she said she was coming, and in fact, Michael Delgrand, you're about this event. The timing tonight couldn't be better. The report is not written. It is not written. So it gives us an opportunity to listen, and Anne-Marie is going to note comments and concerns you have so they can be fed back into the process. And I am absolutely delighted that you were able to bring so many people to this meeting. Oh, and by the way, we weren't at the Scarborough Golf Club. We didn't do that. We were over at the Birchmount. There's no...
Of course, Markham Stouffville and others.
Okay, I would rather discuss first why we decided to move ahead, but are you going to give me an opportunity to do that about the East General? I mean, I'm happy to...
I would hope you can answer the question in that context.
Sure. Could be in Central East Lynn, it could be in the Toronto Central Lynn. No decision, of course, has been made on anything of that kind of detail at this time. But then the second question you were asking is about Markham Stouffville or around Centenary. Markham Stouffville is not part of any of these consultations, and they are not interested in becoming part of any larger entity. Centenary is a different story. We have on several occasions discussed the possibility of Centenary. However, as all you know, Centenary may be close to us, but it is part of the Rouge Valley Health System, and a large part of that hospital is in Ajax, Pickering, which is about 30 kilometers from the Birchmount site. So it is a very long distance away. It is also in Durham. It has a whole different political issue, and I think that this would create a merger that extended east right up into Durham and involve us very much in those politics and issues. Now, one of the problems that led us to consider a merger with the Toronto East General is the problem of being in the Central East Lynn. The Central East Lynn extends, as we love to say, from Victoria Park to Algonquin Park. It has three major clusters. It has the Scarborough hospitals, it has the hospitals around Lake Ridge, and then it has another cluster well out around Peterborough. So there are many, many different issues. And there are big problems. I do not envy Debbie Hammonds, the CEO, and James Meloche trying to provide health care in such a widely disparate group. One of the problems is some of our services have moved out to Lake Ridge, important services. And with them, the money goes. Now, the issue is around patient flow. So the money comes from our budget and has been asked to transfer out to Oshawa to support that service. But you in Scarborough, you don't get that service. You're not going to Oshawa. You know where you're going? You're going to East General, and you're going back downtown to UHN. So in fact, the LIN for the Scarborough Hospital, both the Birchmount and the General site, because we are at the far west of the very large Central East Lynn, and our natural patient flow is to the west, has made some issues for us in providing the kind of care that you need for some of these subspecialty services. So one of the concerns we have is that we are vulnerable in Scarborough to some of our budget ending up going east while our patients end up getting service west.
You're
咁即係話咧係一個係社區諮詢委員會嚇，咁咧就佢哋呢個咧就裏邊咧就有好多嘅委員啦，其中包括我哋嘅阿 Mike DeGrand 大家都識佢㗎。咁咧佢喺裏邊咧其實都有份參與呢個委員裏邊嘅開會，咁咧研究緊究竟係咪應該有個合併咧？咁然之後咧佢哋咧就亦都去同佢哋嘅董事局傾過㗎。咁喺呢件事上面咧其實多倫佢哋嘅健康衞生統籌網絡咧，佢哋都係知會㗎，都係知道呢件事㗎，咁樣嚇。呢個係第一個問題。第二個問題咧，我問阿 Dr. White 嘅咧，就係問佢話如果兩間醫院要合併，如果真係士嘉堡醫院要合併嘅話，點解佢唔同一啲近啲嘅醫院去合併？譬如紅谷醫院啦，係咪大家都有陣時都會去過㗎？紅谷醫院即係 Centenary 嚇，咁然之後或者係喺上面北邊嘅，我哋曾經都有同老人家都會去過嘅，就係 Markham Stouffville。點解唔係呢兩間醫院而同呢兩間醫院講合併？因為佢哋都係屬於如果係講呢個醫療衞生統籌網絡咧，其實都係分開有十幾個區㗎。咁呢幾間醫院係屬同一個區，反而咧多倫多東方醫院咧係唔屬於同一個區域嘅。咁個答案咧，佢就話其實咧佢哋咧因為都知道其實都有問過Markham Stouffville 呢間醫院啦嚇，但係咧即係小康多福醫院。咁但係咧佢哋係表示冇呢個興趣，所以就冇繼續聯絡啦。咁另外咧問過點解嗰個兆康或者紅河谷醫院佢哋嘅，因為咧其實都有同佢哋傾過㗎，佢哋其實咧都係有啲興趣㗎。咁但係咧中間裏邊有啲問題出現咗，就係話喺嗰間醫院裏邊咧曾經有嗰啲服務咧由於佢哋嘅嗰個用量唔夠咧，所以就搬咗上去奧沙華市嚇。咁好似奧沙華市嘅話咧，如果錢咧政府咧就係話錢咧係跟病人㗎，唔係跟醫院㗎。咁如果嗰個病人冇咗個病人嘅話咧，佢哋就冇錢攞啦。咁因為咁嘅原因咧，啲人如果佢啲病人啲服務去晒奧沙華市嘅話咧，咁所以咧嚟到呢個紅河谷醫院嗰時候就冇咁多錢啦。咁再翻轉頭咧就講到士嘉堡醫院嗰度咧，佢哋就話士嘉堡醫院咧其實咧係屬於大多市嘅其中之一塊，係咪啊？咁咧但係如果喺政府嚟講嘅中東方嚇中東部嘅醫療衞生統籌網絡咧就係比較遠啦，因為咧佢哋嗰個網區好大嘅喎，大家都知 Victoria Park 喺邊度啦，係咪？我哋咁低，去到上面嘅Algonquin Park 咧就去露營去宿營嘅地方就好遠啦。咁咧如果咁所以咧就如果我哋啲人攞啲錢去到咁北嘅話，我哋嘅老人家唔會去到咁北睇醫生㗎嘛，係咪？如果嗱你哋都知道啦，如果我哋話有急事要去醫院，如果士嘉堡醫院冇位嘅話，我哋去邊度啊？士嘉堡醫院Grace 就冇位啦，慈恩醫院就冇位啦。咁嗰時候咧，我哋就再落去低啲啦，譬如話去北約克醫院啦，或者有陣時可能去啲比較南邊啲嘅醫院。咁所以咧因為咁嘅原因之後咧，所以 Dr. White 就話佢所以因為咁嘅原因咧，就會同士嘉堡唔係多倫多東方醫院有呢個商談呢個合併事宜啦。
Forging a merger with Toronto East General Hospital.
When did this begin? This began last April when I woke up one morning and saw in the Globe and Mail that the Mississauga Hospital, Trillium, was merging with the Credit Valley Hospital, creating a huge, powerful hospital on the west of the city in Mississauga. Looking after about 1 million patients with an annual budget of $1 billion. This, I thought, was absolutely brilliant because now they were a powerhouse and an academic powerhouse on the west of the city and now could represent themselves strongly against the University Avenue hospitals and Sunnybrook. I am also aware and was very surprised when I came to Scarborough to see how, over the years, so little major investment has been made in the hospitals in Scarborough. Any of you who have been downtown, who have gone on University Avenue and seen the billions of dollars invested there, or what is happening at Sunnybrook, will realize that Scarborough really has not gotten its fair share and has been, to some extent, ignored. It is not, there are many reasons for it. I don't blame the government. I don't have any stripe wherever they were. In order to get this kind of investment, it requires push as well as pull. But I felt that Scarborough needed a very, very strong voice. A strong voice with the LINs, a strong voice with the ministry, and it was essential if we were going to get the kind of capital investment and operating that money that we needed, that we form an alliance so we could be as strong on the east as they are on the west. So that was one reason. Now I have to answer your question, talk a little bit about the economic situation that the province of Ontario faces. I mean, those of you who read the morning papers are aware that we are in a recession, that we are looking at a terrific problem with healthcare funding. It's expanding, if it continues, and obviously it can't continue, but if it were to continue to rise at the rate it's going now, in 2030, every penny of the provincial budget, every penny of your tax dollars would be going into healthcare. Now that can't happen. That simply can't happen. How does it play out for, say, us in the Scarborough Hospital? I'll give you a bit of an idea. We're hoping that we get 1% increase in our base funding this year. We may get 0, but we're hoping we get the 1%. The problem is that our costs are going to go up closer to 3%. When you add in all the labor contracts, which are about 1.45 to 2%, and that's 70% of our budget, our drug costs going up, our maintenance costs going up, the result is that just to tread water, just to provide the services that we do now, would cost us several $1 million beyond what we have. In addition, we have some other problems. We have a cash flow problem in that, and those of you who run a household will understand, we every month borrow on our visa, as it were, to pay our bills. And that can't continue. No more than you would want to run your house and have to pay on your visa and have a carrying charges and basically paying interest. So we've got to fix that. We also have finished a clinical services plan, and one of the things we want to build for Scarborough is we want to build a cancer program. Many of you are approaching the age where cancer is an issue, and you don't want to have to travel downtown. You don't want to have to travel out to Oshawa. You would like to get your services in one place at one visit without visiting doctor after doctor. And the other is those of you with diabetes. The other thing we want to build, and I think the last time I was in this building with Sue Wong, we were trying to work out the Timothy Eaton School where we can hopefully place our chronic dialysis, our chronic renal disease program, and chronic disease management for diabetes. So thank you for that. If it weren't for Sue and it weren't for Lai Chu, that would not have happened, and it seems to be moving ahead. But obviously to do that, in about 2 years, I'm going to need $2 million. So I've got to find that money in this economic climate. Therefore, the hospital is, we in the Scarborough Hospital are having to take 3.5% out of our budget this year. That's about $11 million. That's a lot of money. But we can do it. We can do it across the board, and we can do it without affecting any programs. Unfortunately, the year after, and the year after that, that's year 2 and 3, are a real problem. The province, looking at the job loss, looking at the falling tax base, looking at the potential for interest rates going up, trying to pay off their $16 billion deficit, year 2 and year 3 are likely, almost certainly, going to be worse. And I'm probably going to have to find $5 million in each of those years. To do that, I would have to start cutting programs and services, consolidating from one site to the other. One of the major reasons for me to consider the merger with the Toronto East is I think Rob and I can find the money to fund and pay year 2 and 3 by consolidating back office, that's finance and HR and all of those issues. So that gives us 3 years to innovate and do things differently so that we can continue to provide the services. So in fact, the merger talks, the alliance talks, are actually to mitigate program closures, to make it less likely we would have to take any kind of drastic action or reduce access or quality. In fact, we hope that we can actually, between the two of us, boost quality, the kind of quality and patient safety in the area. So what I say to some people when they say, do you want a merger, yes or no? I say, that's the wrong question. It's either or. It's either we do something like this merger or something else, or we have to go back and find the money each in our own much, much smaller hospital. So that, my answer is, I am hoping, and I think so is Rob, that this kind of an alliance will mitigate and reduce dramatically any program closures.
Thank you. I have a follow-up question, if you don't mind, Dr. Wright. You talked about mitigation, maybe economic argument as well. Can you talk a bit about how this is going to improve patient care in a real way?
That's good. One of the things about the East General and the Scarborough Hospital is we are very culturally similar. We both, remember Rob was our supervisor a few years ago, we both are very focused on quality indicators. We are not bottom line focused, although those of you in East York know that Rob runs a pretty tight ship. But that is extremely important. And we do many things, Rob does many things very, very well, and we do many things very, very well. You will recall when I came out to Scarborough that we were the worst HSMR mortality rate in the city. Well, just last month, we're the best. And Rob does many things. But thank you. I'm very proud of that, too. Now, we want to lever the things that he does well and that we do well so that we can improve the level of patient quality across the board. And obviously, we're also going to need money to do that and hands on deck to do that. And I think that if we come together, we will have a broad base of quality people working in Scarborough.